Howdy, friends. I thought in the midst of all this goofy times that we have that maybe a little unusualness and levity might be funny or useful or just to make you pause for a second. As most of you are well aware, the Bible is full of all sorts of things that our modern ears kind of cringe at or say, well, that was way back then and this is now and we don't do things that way. And to a certain extent, you're right about some of that. There's reasons for a lot of it. And some of the crazy things you read actually have pretty deep meaning for the time it was written. Maybe sometimes you learn those lessons, maybe sometimes you don't. But there's a passage I read, and I don't recall even when I read this passage as a kid, and that has always just stuck with me. So much so that my home brewery is called She Bears Brewing. I have some cool graphics. Sometime maybe once I get the whole system running again, maybe you'll have the joy of sampling that if that is your tea. At my ordination, you invite close friends, family, colleagues that matter a lot to you to speak or read scripture. And I had my best friend, my roommate through all of seminary, Mike, read this scripture. And he got up to read it in front of the whole congregation. We had 500-600 people at this service. It was just packed. And he could not. He started to read and he broke down laughing. And he had to preface the whole thing with, this is not my choice to read. This is his, the guy you're ordaining's choice to read. So let me read it to you because it's one of my favorites. This is from 2 Kings 2, 23 through 25. He, Elisha, went up there from Bethel. And while he was going on his way, some boys came out of the city and jeered at him, saying, "Go away, bald head! Go away, bald head!" When he turned around and saw them, he cursed them in the name of the Lord. Then 2 she-bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the boys. From there he went on to Mount Carmel and then returned to Samaria. Weird stuff, right? The specificity. Two she-bears. Apparently he could tell from a distance that they were mama bears rather than papa bears. And they mauled 42 children. So he had a gang of 42 children chasing him in the woods. Very bizarre story. But sometimes it's helpful to read these little bits and bobs because we take ourselves a little too seriously. Our faith is meant to be filled with joy, with wonder, with grace and mercy, not rigid structure that says some are in and some are out. That's not how Jesus did it. That's not how I do it. I'm hoping it's not how you're thinking as well. Jesus walked into a world where people said, here are the rules and you will follow them or else. The Pharisees would kick you out of the church. The Romans would kill you. Families would displace each other and say, you're not welcome as a part of our family anymore. And Jesus offered a different path. He said, instead of exclusion, expulsion, I offer you acceptance and love. I welcome you into this place of joy and wonder, to be with me, to be with all of those around you of a like mind. So I hope if you're getting dark and gloomy, you're finding yourselves deciding that you are just too serious, that you can think about the she-bears and why we have a story of 42 children being mauled by bears in the woods because a prophet of God called upon some vengeance upon these little ones for teasing about his hairline. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget to smile. See ya.